on a sultry Saturday just north of Atlanta. It's game 2 of this 3-game series, the D-backs and the Braves. Some afternoon baseball for you on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from SunTrust Park, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume along the way, Bob Brenly off this weekend. Luis Gonzalez is here as the D-backs look to make it 2 in a row over the Braves. Steven Souza Jr. back in the lineup today, batting 5th. Gonzo, that bat has really come around lately.
Yeah, it really has. He's 5 for 11 on this road trip, and he's really a bat that the D-backs desperately need to get hot here to end the first half and start off the second half hot.
Our Coors Light refreshing finish. Souza last 6 games, 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. It's the extra base hits.
Well, that's why he was brought here to the Diamondbacks, to be that force behind Paul Goldschmidt in the middle of the order, so let's hope it continues.
Up against lefty Sean Newcomb for Atlanta. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He was named an All-Star this week, did not have an All-Star performance in his start Sunday against the Padres at Chase Field. In fact, went only 4 1/3 innings.
Yeah, just a rough start for him, a small hiccup there. He's 9-5 on the year, but he's been one of the most consistent starters for the D-backs this season.
The final series of the first half of the season, the D-backs and the Braves on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Tire Pros of Arizona, everything rotates around you. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs. Score free Jumbo Jacks. Only at Jack in the Box. By Chaz Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By One AZ Credit Union. Let's bank together. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Clear skies overhead for now. We're hopeful no interruptions in Atlanta. The D-backs and Braves are next on Fox Sports Arizona. Welcome in, Steve Berthium, Luis Gonzalez, Jody Jackson with you. The second of a three-game series. The D-backs and the Atlanta Braves after the Diamondbacks got a 2-1 win in the series opener last night. Looking to make it 2 in a row. And here, Gonzo, is the D-backs starting lineup, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Yeah, top three in the order tonight, this afternoon. David Peralta leading off. Nick Ahmed hitting second. Paul Goldschmidt, the all-star, hitting third. A.J. Pollock in center, fourth. Steven Souza Jr., the hot one, in right field, hitting fifth. Ketel Marte, followed by Chris Owings. Jeff Mathis getting the start today with Zach Greinke on the mound.
D-backs 9 over 500, 52-43. Right now, second in the National League West, but only a half game behind the Dodgers for the division lead.
Yeah, and I think it's important for this team here, these last two games, just to try to finish strong. Whether the Dodgers win or lose these next two games that they have to play, it's important for the D-backs to stay close in the race. And hopefully, if the Dodgers fall in one of those and they win, they jump on top.
And Dodgers came from behind again last night at home against the Angels and got the win. You've got the Rockies and Giants both 3 games off the division lead. Colorado hosting Seattle tonight, and the Giants are home against Oakland. The D-backs finishing up the first half of the year on the road here in Atlanta. Just the second season ever at SunTrust Park. What do you think of this ballpark?
Oh, this is beautiful ballpark. I mean, the crowds that come out here has been tremendous, and you could see the love for the Braves. This new complex that they've built is outstanding.
Yeah, they had a SunTrust record crowd here last night, 42,130. And they're all back here again today. Your starter for the Braves, the lefty Sean Newcomb, just turned 25 years old last month. Now, overall, Newcomb has pitched well his second season in the big leagues. You see the numbers, 8-4 with a 3.44 ERA, but he has struggled lately, Gonzo. Hit hard his last 2 starts.
Yeah, and I think a lot of players have just decided to stay away. He likes to be around the plate or around the edges, and they've laid off some of those pitches, so that's been his nemesis as of late.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the Braves defense here this afternoon.
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves this afternoon are lining up Acuna in left and Ciarte in center. Markakis in right, the 3 usuals there. At first base, Freddie Freeman. At second base, Albies. Shortstop, Dansby Swanson. The third baseman today is Flattery, and behind the plate, Flowers.
Behind the plate for the umpires, it's Mike Esterbrook calling the balls and strikes. He's your plate umpire. Phil Cuzzy is at first base. Stan Molino at second. And the crew chief, Tom Hellion, is in the jackpot down at third. Before we get going, Gonzo, time for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, the key to the game for these Arizona Diamondbacks today is to keep him in the zone. He's walked 9 batters in his last 2 starts, spanning 6.1 innings. He's issued at least 3 base on balls in 10 of his last 18 starts. So they got to try to stay off those pitches outside of the strike zone and get good strikes to hit.
David Peralta will lead it off. We got mostly blue skies overhead right now. There was a chance for some thunderstorms in the forecast, but hopefully we should be okay here. We played in a fairly hard rain for the final several innings last night. David, 286 and 16 home runs. Lights are on here at the ballpark. A 4:10 in the afternoon local start.
That first pitch outside, and Newcomb's one of those guys, likes to throw that fastball and changeup the first time through the batting order.
He keeps missing with it. He's been a guy lately that falls behind early in counts a lot, and it's become a problem for him, as you mentioned. Fastball low. D-backs getting their first ever look at the lefty Sean Newcomb. He's essentially a 3-pitch guy. He'll throw that fastball more than 60% of the time. It averages 93. And then the changeup with the curveball after that. That one right down the middle. It's 3-1.
Yeah, I think you don't want to be too overly aggressive against him, but just look for something inside the strike zone. Peralta's worked himself into good hitters count right here.
Leadoff walk. As you mentioned, the walks have been an issue for him lately. It's a good start. Brings up Nick Ahmed. Newcomb has not been getting the swings and misses on that fastball he was getting earlier this year. He's falling behind in counts, and he's been leaving it up in the zone. So you'll see Tyler Flowers, the Braves catcher today, trying to get Newcomb to keep it down against the D-backs hitters and work those corners. So watch when Flowers, the catcher, sets up on the corner.
Let's see. Nick Ahmed has been very aggressive early in the count this whole road trip.
Nick, as usual, batting second against the left-hander. There's that fastball up. Not a bad pitch, but Mike Estabrook says ball one.
Well, so far, the D-backs have shown patience. First two hitters of the ball game.
Well, they listen to you, that's all.
You'd like to think.
You know what you're doing. There's a good fastball down from Newcomb, right at 93, and it's 1-1. Nick last night doubled in the third inning, just missed a home run off the bullpen wall in left. And then had that big RBI single in the seventh that turned out to be the winning run. Another fastball that sails up on Newcomb. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, and so far the velocity is there. Just his location, he hasn't been able to pinpoint where he wants to throw the ball.
This is a guy, Newcomb, midway through June was 8-2. The ERA was well under 3. He was pitching like an all-star. But he's gone winless in his last 4 starts. He's lost his last 2. There's a little tapper that gets by the mound. Newcomb hustles over, and they move Peralta along. Here's Goldie.
Nick Ahmed was just a little bit out in front, hits that one off the end of the bat.
See the numbers on Goldie, that 930 OPS, top 5 of the National League. OPS, of course, on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Peralta's at second, 1 out. We spiked that fastball down there. He's all over the place so far, Gonzo.
And he's fallen behind the first 3 hitters that he's faced. So
10 pitches, 7 balls. It's been a concern lately for the Braves coaching staff. Newcomb, last 2 times out, beaten by the Yankees and then the Brewers. Both times lasted less than 4 innings. Got that fastball in a good spot, hit the corner. It's 1-1.
Well, it seems like every strike that he's thrown has been down in the strike zone.
Well, that was a point of emphasis in speaking with the Braves people today. They're all over him to get that pitch down. Breaking ball, lost the handle that time. That was the curveball. He's got a good changeup as well. Every once in a blue moon you'll see a slider, but it's basically 3 pitches. Hitters count here for Goldie, 2-1. Trying to break her again. Got that curveball in. Now it's 3-1. You've got Pollock on deck. Braves have 3 infielders on the left-hand side against Goldie. AJ batting cleanup today.
Goldie's going to be sitting dead red right here. See if he gets a good pitch to hit.
Boy, just hung that changeup up there with a hit me sign all over it. It's full 3-2.
Boy, and as a hitter, you know you missed a good pitch. You got to clear your mind, get right back in there.
Wow, that one really sailed on him. He's walked 2 of the first 3. This is exactly the way it's gone for Newcomb lately. A chance for Pollock. AJ 285, 12 homers. He popped up in his only at bat last night. That snapped a 4-game hit streak for him. He's got 2 on and 1 out. leaving that changeup up in some bad spots.
Yeah,
got the strike call that time.
Pretty good changeup there in the outer half. I think most of our guys have really all taken the first pitch they've seen. I think they want to make him work out there, get a good lather going early.
It's a hot day to lather up, no doubt about it. It is sticky here again. Georgia in mid-July. Fastball in at 96, a ball and a strike.
Boy, and that fastball keeps running all over the place. He really doesn't have any command on that, and his breaking ball hasn't been able to throw that over either for a strike.
Well, we've watched Zach Godley struggle with his command at times this year, and then Newcomb has been about the same pace, third in the league in walks. Tomorrow's starter, Julio Teheran, on that list as well. He's up against Corbin tomorrow. AJ fouled that fastball off himself somewhere.
AJ taking his time getting back in the batter's box, kind of regrouping, going through the scenario in his mind before he gets in there.
Here it is on 1-2. Went back to that curveball. Talked about Steven Souza Jr. at the top of the show. That bat really coming around. A whole bunch of extra base hits lately. 2-2 on Pollock. Fastball down low, another full count. He is really struggling with his control right now.
There's only been 3 swings on the last 20 pitches that he's thrown.
He's walked 3 of the first 4. The bases are loaded for Souza.
The D-backs have done a great job so far, kind of waiting him out.
Chuck Hernandez, get out there and figure it out. Big chance for Souza here. Newcomb, 2 starts ago, lasted less than 3 innings at Yankee Stadium, gave up 5 earned. And then in his last start Sunday at Milwaukee, went only 3 2/3 at Miller Park, again gave up 5 runs all earned. And Gonzo, as you mentioned, in those last 2 starts, he walked 9 in just over 6 innings, and he's walked 3 the first 4 here today.
Yeah, and I think it's frustrating for not only him out there on the mound, but the defense behind him, because when you got a guy that's just walking guys, you can't defense a walk. So I'm sure Chuck Hernandez went out there and told him, hey, you got to, if you're going to lose or get beat, you got to let him put the ball in play, make something happen.
Souza, 194 with a homer. He doubled last night. Bases full of D-backs, 1 out. Fastball's low, but he gets the call.
A little help on that first pitch strike there.
Souza has hit safely in 3 straight games, 5 of his last 6, including 5 extra base hits. Got another friendly call from Mike Estabrook.
Well, that's 2 pitches in a row that have been outside of the strike zone.
And Steven being patient there, like you instructed, and it kind of backfired on him there.
It really has.
Yeah. Peralta's at third, Goldie's at second, AJ at first. Almost threw that one to the backstop. Keep in mind, we saw this last night. It's all brick back there, and it's pretty close to the plate. So if it does get behind the catcher, it oftentimes caroms back very quickly. We saw one bounce and roll all the way out to first base in the game last night.
Well, the problem is the first 2 strikes that were called on Souza were out of the strike zone. So now he's in a defensive count. So he's got to expand his zone just a little bit. If he sees something very close to the strike zone, he's going to have to try to take a pop at it. Hopefully he can get it up in the air to at least drive in a run. Wants to stay away from that ground ball if he can.
Good take right there. Change up, not a strike. 2-2.
Boy, and Souza got lucky there. He was trying to call timeout. He took both one of the hands off the bat. The umpire, Mike Estabrook, didn't give him timeout, so he had to reload real quick to get ready for the pitch.
Another full count. He's gone full on the last 3 batters now. Ketel Marte on deck. 3-2 on Goldie, Pollock, and now Souza. Bases full, 1 out. Souza, base hit, winds it into left. Peralta will score. D-backs grab the early lead.
Boy, nice piece of hitting there by Souza. Got a pitch up in the strike zone. He's able to stay on top of it, hit a line drive right over the shortstop's head, Dansby Swanson, for the first run of the ball game.
Let's put up a big crooked number after last night's 2-1 pitchers duel. RBI for Souza. A chance for Ketel Marte. 248 home runs for Marte. Struck out as a pinch hitter last night. Starts him off with a curveball, 0-1.
Boy, that's the first breaking ball that he's thrown over for a strike.
'30th pitch of this first inning from lefty Sean Newcomb on the way. Gonzo, he is all over the place.
He is. That's got to be frustrating for the coaching staff, the players out there on the field. They must feel like they've been out there for quite a while.
I mean, can you believe that only a month ago this guy was 8-2? The ERA was about 2.5.
Only 6 swings the player the D-backs have taken in the last 30 pitches.
Another fastball almost in the dirt. Marte ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, you got to give the D-backs credit too for having patience up there at the plate.
Yeah, you said it. It's really paying off so far. Now you really got to make it hurt. Jammed him. Infield fly rule call. It's up to CO.
Big at bat here for CO. You want to see if he can scratch out at least another run or 2.
Chris in there at third. Lamb sits against the lefty. 193. 3 homers for Chris, who had the night off last night. Had a couple of hits in the Rockies series to start this road trip. Diamondbacks have not been very good lately with runners in scoring position. Chance to get that trending in the other direction right here. Starts him off with that curveball again and dots the corner for strike 1.
He's worked CO now to no balls and 2 strikes. Now CO's got to be in that protected mode.
Curveball away, fastball in.
And the Braves are desperately looking to get out of this with only giving up 1 run with all the traffic that's been out there. That'd be a win-win for the Braves.
It'll be at least a 35 pitch first for Newcomb. Left that fastball up again. CO can handle a high fastball. If he leaves one up there again, eventually he's going to connect. He's got to watch out for that curveball down and away.
Yeah, that's been the one that gives him the problems.
Newcomb has a pretty good changeup as well. Goldie at third, AJ at second, Souza at first. Backdoor the curveball. He rings him up, leaves him loaded, but the D-backs get the early lead for Zach Greinke. Named to the National League All-Star team for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons, his 5th career All-Star appearance. He has lost only once, Gonzo, since the end of May.
Yeah, he's pitched extremely well and deservedly so, making the All-Star team. The strikeouts 117. That's a good sign for the D-backs. And you know, his last outing didn't get through it too well, but let's hope he gets back on track today. He's going to want to keep his pitches down.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Atlanta lineup.
Yeah, leading off for the Atlanta Braves, Ender Inciarte batting second, Ozzie Albies, the second baseman, Freddie Freeman hitting third, Nick Markakis, Tyler Flowers, Acuna, Flattery, Swanson, and the pitcher Newcomb.
Wow, you got it in under the pitch. Nicely done. Fastball's a strike. Here's Ender Inciarte, 243, 6 homers. Grounded out in all 4 of his at-bats last night.
Let's see here, with a veteran pitcher on the mound, it's a warm day out there. He's going to want to be around the strike zone, not messing around, getting his defense back in there to hit again.
Yeah, we've had actually more sunshine than we were promised, so that's good, but it's a hot day to be standing out there in the sun.
Well, and I think Zach knows that Newcomb had a long inning, so he's going to want to rush through this inning and get his guys back in there.
Called strike 3. Fastball off the plate. It's been a big zone for Mike Estabrook so far. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
Yeah, defensively for the Diamondbacks, going from left to right. David Peralta in left field, A.J. Pollock in center, Souza getting the start in right. Paul Goldschmidt, the usual, at first. Ketel Marte getting the start at second. Nick Ahmed at short. Chris Owings today starting at third. Jeff Mathis behind the plate. And Zach Greinke, the All-Star, on the mound.
Here's another All-Star, the 21-year-old Ozzie Albies, the second baseman, 285. He leads the Braves with those 20 home runs. And Albies is a guy who was hitting well over 400 in his previous 20 games, but was held hitless last night. Gonzo 0 for 4. He struck out a couple of times.
Yeah, and Zach Greinke started off well on him here tonight. 0-2. He's been able to dot that pitch on the outer half. Jeff Mathis knows he's getting that pitch a little bit off the plate on the outer half. He's going to keep going out there.
Albies is second in the National League in hits. and he leads the league in extra base hits. In fact, the Braves, with Markakis, Albies, and Freeman, are 1, 2, 3 atop the National League in hits. Greinke gets his second strikeout.
Boy, that pitch had great run on it. Jeff Mathis wasn't even sure he caught that ball. Look at that ball sinking down and away. Kind of caught Mathis by surprise. He thought that ball got by him, and it ended up in his mitt.
Good start. 2 strikeouts. Here's Freeman. 315 and 16 home runs. 4th in the league with that 941 OPS, just ahead of Goldie. D-backs have the shift on. A fastball is the strike, 0-1.
Boy, he's been outstanding so far, painting that outer half down and away, especially on these left-handed hitters for the Atlanta Braves.
StatCast powered by AWS. That's how they line up against Freeman. 3 infielders on the right side. That was a strike a minute ago.
Yep.
2-1.
Just don't know anymore. Just continue to pitch that outer half.
Three balls and a strike on Freeman. Markakis, another all-star on deck. 3 all-stars for the Braves, all in a row, 2, 3, and 4. Albies, Freeman, and Markakis. They'll all be in D.C. on Tuesday, along with Zach Greinke. This one is over Marte and into short right. A 2-out single for Freeman, who hits into the shift, but it drops into no man's land.
Boy, and really, that was a great pitch by Greinke. You got to give Freeman credit. That ball was down and away, just sinking away, just stayed, kept his bat in the zone, flipped it out there into right field.
He's just a really, really good player. A couple of all-star first basemen right there. Markakis having a sensational year, 324 and 10 home runs. Singled twice last night. Oh, all right. It's going to be one of those days.
You know, it was
a little low, borderline, but showed up as a strike.
He called a couple of those earlier.
Zach needs those pitches to succeed. He needs everything right on the edges of the strike zone. There's another one right there. That's a strike. It's 1-1.
And usually the all-star pitchers like Zach Greinke that's around the plate, they'll get those pitches.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of surprised that he didn't get them earlier. I know there's an all-star hitter at the plate too, a veteran guy.
Yeah, Markakis is leading the league in hits. Jeff Mathis back there, ball and a strike. Swing and a miss. Here's the Greinke changeup at 87. It's 1-2.
And he continues to pound the outer half on those left-handed hitters. Tough pitch for those guys to stay on. Sooner or later, some of these lefties are going to try to reach out and lean over the plate.
Going back there with a fastball. Right back to the Gold Glover. Greinke strands the 2-out single. D-backs have the 1-0 lead.
you. Jeff Mathis set to lead things off, and the catcher has been catching both Zach Greinke and Patrick Corbin for over a month now. So interesting dilemma for Torrey. Wasn't sure what he was going to do tomorrow with Patrick Corbin pitching. If it will be Jeff, it's not a night game and then a day game, but an afternoon here today. So that's the short-term decision with Jeff this weekend. But long-term, because he is catching both of those guys, he may split them up in the rotation after the All-Star break. But of course, a lot of decisions to be made with that rotation after the break, guys.
Yeah, also, Jody, anticipate maybe getting Clay Buchholz back shortly after the All-Star break, which would give them some more pieces to maneuver around there. And Mathis will lead off the second.
Let's see if Newcomb this second inning tries to change his game plan and just try to go right, attack the zone, pitch to contact.
And a 36-pitch first inning. Walked 3, but left the bases loaded with only 1 run. This is popped up foul. Mathis down quickly 0-2 with Greinke on deck. Jeff singled, walked, scored a run in his start Tuesday against the Rockies at Coors Field. He's been a pretty effective bat lately. Hard to short. Backhanded by Swanson. Bobbles, recovers, and throws him out. I think the jury, Gonzo, is still out on exactly what kind of major leaguer Dansby Swanson is going to be.
Yeah, he's done a lot of extra work out here with Ron Washington, their infield coach. But you know, he was brought in here, really thrust through the minor leagues, didn't spend a lot of time there, and came right up to the big leagues.
There's Wash. Eric Young, EY coaching first. Wash is the third base coach here for Brian Snitker. Here's Greinke. Well, Newcomb seems to have better control with that fastball so far in the second.
You know, the last six hitters, 6 first pitch strikes.
That has been a big battle for him. He's been a guy that falls behind early in counts. Those offensive numbers for Greinke lately. He kind of joked that he made the All-Star team not as a pitcher but as a utility player because he can hit, he can steal bases, he can defend.
Well, he's trying to work on his another Silver Slugger award for him. Oh, and that's what makes you an All-Star. You're able to swing the bat and help yourself out when you're able to bunt and get runners over and move guys around and get base hits and drive in runs for yourself. Got 4 RBIs on the season. That's a lot for a lot of pitchers.
It's a career. And he still has not yet been caught stealing. This is punched down the line, but that one is slicing out of play.
I mean, that's a good 2-strike approach right there. That pitch was on the outer half of the strike zone, off the plate, and he was defending that pitch.
There's that ever once in a while slider from Newcomb. Every so often he'll drop one of those in there, but it's mostly fastball, curveball, changeup.
Well, more importantly, he's making his counterpart work a lot. It's going to be the 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up right here on Zach Greinke, the pitcher.
And he belts it down the line. Just foul. He just missed a double by about a foot.
I tell you, man, he's fantastic. He's going line to line. They throw him away. He's shooting that ball down the right field line, just foul. Down the left field line, just foul. He's making them work.
Pitch number 8 coming up.
He's not gonna let Newcomb get away with just a free at bat having that pitcher up there. He's gonna make him work.
Either way, it looks like it's going to be a short day for Newcomb. Already approaching 50 pitches in the second inning. That stays fair for Flowers, and Greinke is retired. 2 outs. Well, Newcomb, ever since the Souza RBI, has sit down 4 in a row. And here's David Peralta, who walked to lead off the ballgame.
David Peralta, the only lefty in the lineup today to face Newcomb.
Yeah, John Jay got the day off. Jake Lamb. Fastball right down the middle for a strike. That's 7 consecutive first pitch strikes for Newcomb. Snuck the breaking ball through the front door. Now it's 0-2.
David's in a battle now.
David, since that 5-hit game a week ago against the Padres, is 2 for 14 up there. So he's cooled off just a bit here this week. Newcomb now at 50 pitches, 30 strikes. In the air, left center. Inciarte coming in, and he's got it. 5 in a row retired by Newcomb. D-backs have a 1-0 lead. Exceptional command so far. Look at the first pitch to each of the first 4 batters in the first inning.
Yeah, all 4 left-handed hitters. That first one kind of leaked in, but everyone else is down on that, dotting it out on the outer corner. The down and away, down and away. He's got his command. Let's hope he can stay with that the rest of the ball game. Got a lot of lefties in today's lineup.
Our nationwide vision eye on the game. Tyler Flowers, the catcher, bats 5th. There's another first pitch strike. Flowers, 236, 4 homers. He sat out last night's opener. Oh. Boy, he buried that fastball in there right on the inner half of the zone. Didn't get the call.
I'm sure Zach will talk to Mathis between innings to talk to the umpire just to kind of let him know that he wants that pitch.
Well, you know why? Because it was a strike.
Yeah.
That one by Flowers, and it's 1-2. Another fastball.
No, and I think Zach doesn't want to waste pitches, and especially when you're in the strike zone.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to get back in the dugout and cool off and let his guys do their work at the plate.
Straight heat from Greinke. He has struck out 3 the first 5 he's faced.
Boy, this one he just put right by Flowers on the outer half.
This is one of those days, and it's still early, but it looks like he is really on. Acuna, the left fielder. 261, 7 home runs. Just 20 years old, a very promising youngster. Greinke with a slider, left it up. 0-1. Acuna doubled and walked last night.
You know, one thing about Zach Greinke, when he's on his location, he doesn't miss by much when that catcher's mitt set up somewhere.
Little dribbler to third for CO. Close at first, but they get him. You saw Zach.
Yeah.
Whew, that was close. Acuna really hustling up that line.
I think Zach said something to CO there. I don't think they anticipated him being that quick running down the line. I think his internal clock, when you're fielding a ball, usually you know the runner's speed. I think he's going to have to get another click or 2 up to get rid of it on him.
Ryan Flaherty in at third today. 246. He's homered twice.
Get over there!
Bounce to first. Goldie's got it. And Greinke has set down 4 in a row. He's got a 1-0 lead in Atlanta. Of Atlanta, where the Diamondbacks lead the Braves 1-0. It's the biggie tomorrow on Fox. Pogba, Mbappe, and France take on Luka Modric and Croatia. It is the FIFA World Cup final. Coverage starts tomorrow, 7 a.m. You can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Gonzo, who do you have there?
I actually have France.
Now, did a lot of research and analysis
No, I picked them out of a pool, out of a hat.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Todd Walsh has slipped you $5 to pick France, didn't he?
No, pretty excited about it too. I had no idea on them. I love watching it because there's a lot of acting going on in that thing. You know, you tap a guy and he's falling around floundering like a fish.
Acting or flopping, either one. Ahmed leads off the third against Newcomb, who set down 5 straight after a very bumpy first. Nick grounded out his first time up. The World Cup final, you only get to watch that game once every 4 years. It's an enormous spectacle, and it'll be on Fox tomorrow.
Boy, we were talking yesterday about how Nick Ahmed's gotten better at getting that pitch inside and turning on it. That ball was just a tad off the inner half of the plate, and he turned on it down the left field line into the stands. But he's looking for that pitch to try to turn and burn.
Just missed a home run here by about 6 inches last night off the bullpen wall in left. This is skied to right for Markakis. Tell you what, Gonzo, Newcomb could not throw a strike in the first inning, but he has settled in nicely ever since.
Yeah, he probably got a tongue lashing when he went into the dugout by not only his pitching coach and his manager, but probably some of the players in there, his defense behind him, telling him just to attack and try to go right after hitters and quit trying to nibble around.
I don't know if he had enough control to do that, but he seems to have found it. He walked Goldie the first time up. Here's another first pitch fastball for a strike. So Newcomb much better here after Souza's RBI single that made it 1-0. D-backs left the bases loaded, however, in that first. Up the middle, the shift was on. Albies gets over there. The second baseman's got it 2 down. Brings up A.J. Pollock. A.J., one of the 3 bases on balls that Newcomb issued in that first. D-backs had bases loaded, 1 out. Souza had the RBI single. Then Marte popped up. Owing struck out looking. And they only got 1. Braves will leave the shift on against A.J. There's that changeup. Misses down and away. 1-0. Ozzie Albies, the second baseman, on the shortstop side of the bag. Flaherty on the line at third. Freeman off the bag at first. Fastball away is a strike. 1-1.
Boy, and if the D-backs can get A.J. to play like he did before he got injured in that second half of the season, it's going to be a nice addition to the team. It's almost like you're getting healthy guys back.
And all-star caliber players also, not just bodies. Newcomb gets A.J. to pop up. Freeman's under it. And Newcomb, after a bumpy first, has set down 8 straight. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. History presented by Geico. Bob Brenly not here. His staff sent this one in. July 14th, 2000, John Olerud hit a game-tying double, but it was disallowed in the 6th inning when Jim Wolf had called timeout because a pitch had come in from the bullpen. So Olerud goes back, hits a home run, same at bat. That's a very BB-like selection.
Absolutely. You're ticked off at the umpire, and then the next half inning you go back out on defense and you're thanking him.
Yeah, exactly. How about that? So that sent in from the Brenly staff. Dansby Swanson leads off the third against Zach Greinke, who has looked tremendous so far.
Well, we appreciate Brentley staying on the job, even though he's not here, letting me fill in for a couple days.
And he delegates. He takes the weekend off, but he makes his staff work.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the way he operates.
Had Gracie texting me earlier about the strike zone.
Today?
He said, we've seen that strike
I was going to say, was it today? Was it last night?
No, it was today.
Take your pick.
Yeah, he said, we've seen that when we faced Maddox, Smoltz, and Avery and those guys. Balls off the plate.
Yeah, there's been a...
Glavin.
We've seen it a lot worse, but there's been a few that make you go, 2-2. Here's the slider from Zach. Pitcher Newcomb on deck. Boy, Swanson really went down there to stay alive on that slider. That's the pitch that's been very inconsistent for Greinke this year. Sometimes all right, other times it's just not the usable pitch for him. Not nearly to the level it was at last year. Swanson punches one into left. Got the fastball, a leadoff single, second hit for the Braves.
Oh, Dansby did a good job there. That ball was in on his hands. He just kind of punched it out into left field.
Well, we'll see if Newcomb can bunt. Owings is coming in from third. Greinke 30 pitches, 21 strikes. Goldie holding Swanson on the bag at first. Owings a couple of steps in at third. Newcomb squares up, pulls back, takes ball one.
I think Zach was upset at himself. He threw a breaking ball there, expecting the bunt.
That Ephus pitch, the curve, the slow curveball at 67. What's interesting about Zach, one of the many things in watching him pitch, Gonzo, is the way he directs the traffic among the infielders. He wants certain guys in certain spots.
Well, and the thing that's good about him is when you have a pitcher like that and he's able to hit his spots, that's great. If you got a guy directing traffic and you don't know where his ball's going out there on defense, you get frustrated with guys like that. This guy seems to have a good sense of the game, knowledge, and he knows if his game is on or not when he's out there early.
Newcomb squared up again. Gets it down. Owings has it. And they move the runner along. Sacrifice 5-4 on a putout. And here's the leadoff man, Ender Inciarte.
Well, let's see how Zach approaches these guys a second time around. The first time up, the first four hitters are lefties. He just attacked the outer lower half of the strike zone.
Ender 0 for 5 in this series. He struck out looking his first time. Ahmed playing almost right behind the bag at second. Fastball low. Inciarte's not done a whole lot lately at the plate. He's under 220 since the end of May. This is out to left center, in trouble. Peralta runs it down in the gap. Swanson well off the bag, has to hustle back. A nice running grab by David Peralta to get to that one.
Yeah, and I think Dansby Swanson thought that ball was going to be hit over Peralta's head right when it was hit, but David covered a lot of ground to get to it.
Well, Swanson was almost at third. fact, Zach mentioned when he got named to the All-Star team, he wanted to take some defenders with him, and David was one of them because he really gives credit to the defense behind him. He said he was going to take Ahmed with him. He was going to take Peralta, going to take Jay, just so they could play behind him in the All-Star game. Here's Albies. Kind of yanked that changeup a bit, 1-0. On the ground to first. Goldie will take it himself. And Greinke strands the leadoff single. It stays 1-0 Diamondbacks. Rounded out to first to end the third, but let's listen now as you hear Jeff Mathis yell to his pitcher Zach Greinke to get over there and cover first base. Listen to this.
Get over there!
Now Gonzo Goldie able to take it himself, but that's another example of what Mathis brings to the table.
Yeah, a lot of times the pitchers will get caught up in the situation of the game and they forget to cover first. Although Zach Greinke is probably one of the better guys in the game that is good defensively out there, but sometimes some of those pitchers have a little lapse sometimes. But Mathis does a great job of reminding him. A lot of catchers do that. Sometimes you don't hear. We got a great hot mic out there on the field where you're able to hear that.
I mean, even after the ball is hit, Mathis is directing traffic with his pitcher.
And it doesn't matter if it's a routine, because if Goldie bobbles that, he's got to have that pitcher there to get to it. But Goldie made a nice clean play and was able to make it. You just want to have that reassurance knowing that the pitcher's getting over to first base.
I mean, you could hear him yell that from way up here where we are. A 1-1 on Souza, who starts the fourth against Sean Newcomb. And this one is headed for right center, and Ciarte, two-time Gold Glover out there, runs it down, takes extra bases away. 9 in a row set down by Newcomb.
Boy, that's okay. Souza's got to be feeling good today. He's hit 2 balls well, one for a base hit over Swanson's head to drive in the first run, and this one right here, line drive into right center field. Ciarte made a nice running catch.
Ender has been the NL's Gold Glove center fielder each of the last 2 years, but as we know, much of that work began with the D-backs under Dave McKay.
Yeah, Dave McKay is probably one of his strongest mentors to Ender Ciarte.
I mean, he worked long, hour after hour with Ender, setting him down that Gold Glove path.
And believe me, players can play for many years in the major leagues. They remember those coaches that helped them along the way to get to where they're at. And Dave McKay is definitely one of those guys that's helped them to become the Gold Glove center fielder that he is.
Here's Dave coaching first. 1-1 on Ketel Marte in at second base today. There's a tapper to third. Flaherty's on it. Makes a nice play.
Well, a really nice play there by Flaherty. That's a tough angle to throw the ball right down the third base line. A couple hops. Made it look pretty easy.
Here's another look.
Those third basemen will practice that play in spring training 100 times.
Yeah, Flaherty started 23 of their first 29 games this year. Played a lot of third while Johan Camargo was on the DL with an oblique injury. Camargo has the day off today. Here's Chris Owings as Newcomb looks to finish off his what would be his third consecutive 1-2-3 inning. CO struck out looking with the bases full to end the first. Got caught looking at a backdoor curveball. He's ahead in the count here, 2-0.
Yeah, and I think this year's been a struggle a little bit for CO for the simple fact that he's not getting consistent play like he did last year. He started for a majority of the season, so it's been a little bit tougher for him to get in a groove.
This is well hit and into left. A 2-out single for Owings. And just the second hit for the Diamondbacks against Newcomb, who had retired 10 straight. Here's Mathis. Jeff grounded out his first time. CO will run. 7 stolen bases this year.
And what that base hit does there with CO, it extends the inning, makes Newcomb stay out there throwing more pitches.
And he had been locked into a rhythm. It kind of takes him out of it a little bit. The first base runner since Sousa's RBI single in the first. Mathis gets into one. Acuna backing up at the track, at the wall, and it's off the wall. Owings flying around third. He will score. RBI double for Jeff Mathis in a 2-0 D-backs lead.
Boy, that's a great piece of hitting by Jeff Mathis. Got a good pitch to extend and drive that ball into left center field. See that ball down in the zone. It's almost like a golf swing right there. He got under it, kind of golfed it out there.
Just missed a home run high off the wall out there. He's been on a nice run lately with the bat, Jeff Mathis. Gets the big hit here and there.
And the D-backs caught a break there because that ball bounced in a different direction past Acuna in left field.
Yeah, Owings scored easily that time.
We're able to roll the lineup over here by getting Zach Greinke, but he's no easy out either.
I was going to say at least they'll also clear the pitcher spot, but I'm not sure that's just a formality here with Zach, the way he swung the bat lately. And a long at bat his first time up. A 2-out single and a 2-out double by Mathis have made it 2-0 D-backs. Sky to center. Ender might not have to move on this one.
Neither did Greinke.
2-0 Diamondbacks in Atlanta.
photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
D-backs in Atlanta leading the Braves 2-0. Fans, don't forget to celebrate summer with us at Chase Field. Free tickets for the kids. That's right, D-backs giving all kids 15 and younger free tickets to any home game next weekend. That's July 20th through the 22nd. The Rockies will be in town. Get up to 2 free kids tickets with a purchase of an adult ticket. Call 602-514-8400, or you can get on the interweb there and look up dbacks.com/kids. That's a tremendous deal. Free tickets for kids 15 and under. Fans can receive up to 2 free kids tickets with a full price adult ticket for select sections of the ballpark: baseline reserve, bleachers, bullpen reserve, club reserve, infield reserve. That's a great deal.
It really is.
I mean, you got triplets, bring them down. Well, they're older too. Right?
Yeah, they don't live in Arizona anymore, unfortunately.
Are they still on the payroll though?
Oh yeah, that never ends.
Here's Freddie Freeman to lead off the 4th against Zach Greinke, now holding a 2-0 lead. Freeman singled in the 1st.
It's pretty fun being out here, seeing a lot of D-backs fans that have made the trip from Arizona to come out to this new ballpark.
Well, you know, a lot of folks like to travel and see all the different ballparks all over the country. This is just the 2nd year of SunTrust Park up here in Cobb County, north of Atlanta. And there's a lot to do here. Diamondbacks were swept in 3 games during this ballpark's inaugural season last year. They got their first ever win here last night. And looking to make it 2 in a row here today. Clinch a series win to close out the first half of the season. Besides, you don't get to enjoy this level of humidity back home.
Anything to open up the pores here just to make you feel refreshed when you get back to Arizona.
It is moist. Got off the bus when we got here Thursday night. Wow. It's a little different than back home. Ketel Marte bobbles it, recovers, and they retire Freeman.
Boy, nice job by Marte. Misplayed it a little bit, didn't panic. Knew the runner going down the line, had just enough time to get the runner out at first base.
Here's Markakis, 0 for 1.
Oh, back home right now, we're in monsoon season. We've had a couple rough ones there the last week.
Everybody batting down the hatches.
A couple floods. Just hope everybody stays safe.
Well, we're used to that in July. Curveball right at the knees for a strike, 0-1.
Well, I think Greinke and Mathis have worked so well together here this year.
They are 2 peas in a pod. I think they think alike, which is what works out so well. It's interesting, even a guy with total conviction in what he's doing like Zach Greinke can be talked into something else when it comes from a guy like Mathis. Sometimes it seems like there's almost a negotiation between the two, which I think is really productive.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think something that gets overlooked with our catchers is, you know, we've had great offensive catchers here in the past.
Sure.
But the successful teams that have been with the D-backs, it all relies on that guy behind the plate, because they're the guys that have been able to work extremely well with our starters. Regardless of what kind of offensive numbers they put up, it's behind the plate that they're really counted on teams. You hope that the other big boppers in the middle of the order are able to do the job, but if you got a guy behind the plate that works well with a pitcher, that's been a winning combination for the D-backs.
And here's a guy in Mathis who's 35 now, and he's got a career batting average that starts with a 1. But there's a reason he got a 2-year deal when he signed here. They knew what they wanted, and it's really worked out well.
It has, and that's the research that our front office or analytics guys and all them have done to handpick these guys when they're out there, when they're free agents, to try to get them here and lock them up for a couple-year deal, because they know how valuable they are to the pitching staff.
2-2 on Markakis. Alex Avila certainly is in that very same mold. Alex has done a tremendous job. We saw him last night back there defensively. He knows what fingers to put down.
And his bat's starting to light up too. You see, Mathis got a big hit. Avila.
Alex has hit the ball hard. He hit the ball hard 3 times last night.
Murphy, of course, we know he's got the power.
Oh, we went to the eephus and got Markakis to swing and miss his 4th strikeout. This has become a real weapon for Greinke, Gonzo, that big slow curveball.
Yeah, and that's frustrating for a hitter because you know he's got it in his toolbox. He hasn't used it yet, and then all of a sudden he pops it out on Markakis.
I mean, he's way out in front.
I'm sure they'll talk about that one at the All-Star game when they're sitting around the locker room.
Zach loves those conversations. He really does.
Tell Greinke, why'd you want to throw me that?
Now, last time he faced Flowers, which was to lead off the 2nd inning, he just attacked him with one fastball after another and got him to strike out.
Up and away. He challenged him up and away.
50 pitches, 33 strikes. He struck out 4. He's not walked a batter. Changed things up a little bit. That looked like a pretty good slider from Greinke. Starting to find that pitch a little bit more the last few starts than he had earlier in the year.
Boy, he's just got a late break on that. It's hard for a hitter to stay off of that pitch. They see it coming in the zone. The last couple feet, it just darts out of the strike zone.
Yeah, that's interesting. After all the fastballs in the first at bat, like we talked about, they double up on the slider right there. And they're ahead 1-2. Out to Souza in right field. Zach Greinke has set down 6 in a row. He's got a 2-0 lead. Jody Jackson with you. D-backs have a 2-0 lead over the Braves. Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 p.m. the following day at participating locations. Leadoff man David Peralta leads off the 5th against left-hander Sean Newcomb. David walked and scored to lead off the ball game. Diamondbacks have a 2-0 lead. Souza, the RBI single in the 1st. Mathis, the RBI double in the 4th. Interesting, given the somewhat unique dynamic of the lineup from time to time, that, as you mentioned, Gonzo, Peralta, the only left-hand bat in there against Newcomb, is in the leadoff spot, which is a little unusual.
Yeah, and I always like when you're facing a tough left-hander that you throw a lefty in there. Like Randy Johnson, a lot of left-handers would get a day off
Get a headache just before the start of the game.
That's it.
Feel well that morning. Yeah.
But you got to throw the pitcher a different angle. If he's facing all right-handed hitters,
that's a good thought.
You know, he can get in a groove and start hitting that same outer half, and then come down and in. And then when you throw a lefty up there, it just kind of gives him a different look.
Well, Newcomb, after Souza's RBI single in the first, retired the next 10 batters he faced. He left the bases loaded with 1 out in the first inning. But then Owings a 2-out single in the fourth. Mathis doubled him home to make it 2-0. I think as Newcomb, Gonzo, has found his control and his command somewhat, the Diamondbacks are getting a little less patient up there. Zach Greinke's been up twice. He's grounded out and flied out. He saw 10 pitches in 2 at-bats. No other hitter saw more than 9.
And I think, you know, he's come out definitely a different pitcher after that first inning.
There's a little roller to Albies at second. 1 down in the 5th. And Newcomb has done a nice job. It looked like he might not survive the first inning, but he's kept it 2-0 here in the 5th inning as Nick Ahmed steps up. Nick is grounded out, flying out 0 for 2.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the D-backs, they had a lot of traffic in that first inning with all the walks. We only had that 1 base hit from Souza that was able to get the run in. Starting to get a little dark out here now over the right field.
Yeah, there's some very threatening clouds, but they're sort of blowing, I think, away from us, which is good news. Got some blue sky directly overhead. It's one of those days. Might thunderstorm, might not. You never know until it does. Curveball misses. And that's the sky behind the right field foul pole here at SunTrust Park. See that brand new hotel complex that's opened up. You must have, what, a 3 or 4 room suite over there, right?
It's not a 3 or 4 room, but it's a really nice room.
It always is.
I was really happy yesterday after the game when I saw the traffic leaving this ballpark, and all I had to do was just walk over to the hotel.
This is not a ballpark, it's a complex. There's an enormous amount of things around here, but getting out of this place is a nightmare. And you were just sitting by the pool enjoying a beverage, waving at us
just
as we
relaxing.
took off into traffic.
That's it.
It does not move at all when everybody tries to spill out into 1 2-lane road.
And I was told yesterday the reason the game was later, a 7:30 game, is because of the businesses that are there. They have to clear them out after 5 o'clock for the parking spaces to get all these fans to be able to park in the garages.
I believe it. And as we mentioned, we had a record crowd last night of over 42,000 here. Yeah, this is a complex. There are stores and restaurants and theaters and the luxury hotel. There are 3 different apartment communities. There's a 4,000-seat theater. It's all in what they call the Battery up here in Cobb County, about a 25-30-minute drive from Buckhead in Atlanta. Full count on Ahmed, 3-2. So there's a lot going on around here, and not a whole lot of room to park or drive.
No, but there's a lot of money being generated around this area.
You better believe it. And I believe the Braves own a fair amount of everything around here, so they're not going to be hurting for cash now that they've opened this complex.
And I think what that does, it just opens up the vault to try to get, you know, better free agents to come in here when they're looking at this ballpark and looking at the crowds they're getting every single night.
Brand new ballpark, tremendous facilities, yeah. Fastball's low, but Mike Estabrook rings up Ahmed. That was a good take by Nick. That was not a strike. But Newcomb gets his 2nd strikeout. Just below the knees. That's borderline. It's not a bad call. So here's the gold finger theme on the organ here for Goldie, who has walked and grounded out. 3 infielders on the left side.
Newcomb tried to come with that changeup. Guarantee if he leaves that over the middle part of that plate, it'll be deposited out in the left field seats.
Here's a look at the Atlanta defense against Goldie. Newcomb now with 85 pitches. Here's that changeup low, 2-0.
Well, you could almost tell when he's throwing that to Goldie how he aims it, trying to keep it out of that strike zone.
Yep. Fastball is low and away, but it's strike one. And Goldie doing a lot of damage against lefties this year, just under 320. The OPS versus left-handers over 1,000.
Wow. You know what?
Here we go.
And Goldie's he's an all-American kid, all-American guy. I'd love to see him argue with an umpire once in a while, because then they would know. He's so nice that he doesn't ever look at an umpire or say anything, and they know he's not going to complain.
We got a little bit of an eye roll there, I think, from Goldie. That's about the most he's got.
But look, he just chased that one out of the zone because he got put in a 2-strike situation on 2 pitches that weren't even strikes.
Yeah, that's not good.
But I guarantee you, if he gets frustrated a couple times with an umpire or two, the word will get around. And that, for being an all-star superstar that he is, there has been more pitches out of the strike zone called on him. He's in the top 3 or 4% in the major leagues. And look at the type of caliber ball player that he is. That shouldn't happen.
Able to lay off that slider, and he's worked it full despite some of the missed calls.
He's even helping the umpire throwing balls out. You saw that?
Well, he is America's first baseman. Here's Newcomb, 90 pitches, 56 strikes. He has walked 3, struck out 2. This is chopped to Swanson at shortstop. 1, 2, 3, 5th for the D-backs, but they lead it 2-0.
Over the first 4 and 4 strikeouts, talking to a bunch of his teammates and Torey Lovello about him going to the All-Star game and what he means to this team. And David Peralta with an interesting answer. He said, well, we love what he's able to do. He goes out there, he's so serious about his craft. He goes, he's the real freight train. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he loves to hit, he wants to steal bases, he wants to do it all, and he can pitch. So according to David, Zach Greinke is the real freight train.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised, but that's what he said.
That's impressive, Jody. Thanks. Here's Acuna, the left fielder, to start the 5th against Greinke. D-backs have the shift on. It's Acuna, Flaherty, Swanson, 6, 7, and 8, and the Braves 5th. The pitcher Newcomb would bat 4th. Atlanta has a rookie right-hander Shane Carl warming up in its bullpen. So it looks like Brian Snitker might hit for the pitcher if we get to that spot. One of 3 rookie relievers for Atlanta with at least 10 holds. They've got a young bullpen, but they've done a pretty good job. Vizcaíno had to go on the DL today. He was warming up at the ball game last night. Fastball misses in on Acuna. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Zach has retired the last 6 he's faced. fly ball to center. AJ's there. Got some dark clouds overhead. The lights are on here. There's also blue sky, so who knows?
You're exactly right. You never can tell. Boy, nice job by Greinke to come back right there on a 3-1. Just elevate a little bit, get him to pop up to center field. Starting to get a little breeze picking up.
Yep. Get a look at some of the gray sky, and then on the other side of the park, there's some blue. The third baseman, Ryan Flaherty, grounded out his first time up today. Their curveball misses low. Flaherty, his first season in Atlanta, 6 years in Baltimore. He's done a good job for them, filling in at third from time to time. He signed with the Phillies as a free agent this winter, got released at the end of spring training though. And so signed with the Braves. He's been a good fit on the bench here for the most part. Zach falling behind in counts to start this inning. It's 2-1.
Well, I think when you look at utility guys and are able to play multiple positions, how valuable they are in today's game. We probably have one of the best in the game right now. I know everybody talked about Ben Zobrist when he came over to the Cubs, but Daniel Descalzo is really the guy. He's kind of the glue that can play anywhere. He plays against left-handers, even when we have a third baseman that, you know, struggles against left-handed hitters, and Daniel hits left-handed, and he's playing against those guys.
Plays second, plays third, pitches, plays the outfield. And Chris Owings has been tremendous defensively in that role. CO plays terrific defense everywhere he is, in the infield, in the outfield, the corners. He plays center.
This is Greinke's first full count in the ball game.
He's got 4 strikeouts, no walks. Here it is on 3-2. Roller to second. Marte is there. 2 down. Boy, this is as good as we've seen Zach in a while, and he's been pretty good lately. Very efficient out there, Gonzo.
You know, and I think too, sometimes he didn't originally make the All-Star team at first, and then they added him on after. So I think that was kind of you feel good about your season, and then, you know, your first half, and then all of a sudden you didn't make the All-Star team, and then all of a sudden they tell you, hey, you made the All-Star team. So I think, you know, he got like a breath of fresh air there, and he's feeling pretty good, and he wants to go out today and prove why he's the All-Star.
He was selected to replace the Cubs' John Lester on the All-Star roster. Lester will pitch tomorrow for Chicago, so he's going to skip the game. Here's Swanson. And it was Zach, and Jody was there the other day when he did this after they made the announcement that Greinke would be an All-Star. And he was reminding everybody, hey, I was the same guy back in spring training, wondering publicly if I was going to be able to get anybody out this year. Remember, Greinke had some anxiety about that. He was getting older. The velocity was down a little bit. But he's turned out to have a terrific first half.
Look, when you have all-star veteran pitchers like that, you know, they're not going to have the same stuff. But when those guys, they'll find ways to get guys out. And that's what makes these guys so valuable on teams.
And it's what makes, I think, Gonzo, Zach, so interesting to watch pitch. It's something different every day. Every time you see him, it might be, oh, that curveball's unhittable. The changeup's been great. Oh, he's got fastballs working today. It's always something different.
And I think another part of the value that a guy like Greinke brings is not just to pitching in the games, but when he's sitting on the bench next to the other 3 starters, aside from the one in the game that day, he's able to share knowledge with them, and they're learning and they're watching him, his craft of how he goes out there each and every day to pitch to certain hitters and what his game plan is.
Stays fair. Nice backhand stop by CO. Long throw, and they get Swanson at first. 9 straight set down by Zach Greinke. We head to the 6th. It's 2-0 D-backs. nothing. They've got an all-star on the mound today, and they'll have another one out there tomorrow. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. The all-star left-hander Patrick Corbin will start the series and first half finale against the Braves righty Julio Teheran. It's breakfast with the Diamondbacks. D-backs live pregame show. It comes your way at 10 a.m. tomorrow on Fox Sports Arizona.
Boy, that ought to be a fun game. The last game before the All-Star break. These guys are all excited. You got two teams in contention. It used to be the last game for the All-Star break. Everybody was first ball hacking because they knew they can get on a flight and spend 3 days out of here. So, you know, I'm sure all these guys are looking forward to the break. A lot of guys, some guys will be on the flight back. Other people are going other places.
Some guys going up to Sedona with some families to hang out there.
You talked to Torrey today. He was going to go see his son play for a couple days.
Yeah, his son Nick is playing AA ball with the Portland Sea Dogs in the Red Sox organization. So he's going to spend his break in Binghamton, New York.
Undercover. He's going to go undercover over there.
It was funny. He said, you know what? I just want to go and be a Little League dad for a few days. So he and Kirsten are going to go out there. That's terrific. In the hole, that's by Flaherty. Swanson's there, though, and they retire AJ to start the sixth. Torrey said this the other day. I'd like to see what you think about it. He said he thinks it's really important for the team to play well going into the All-Star break and play well coming out of the All-Star break. And he says that really helps determine who's going to be there at the end of the year. Do you buy into that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, why is that?
I think because it gives you mental positiveness going into the All-Star break.
Right.
And the guys are excited to start the second half, especially knowing that you're in the middle of a pennant race, because now it amps up a little bit more after the All-Star break. You're a little bit past the halfway point.
Yeah, this is game 96 here today.
And you know that you've got to make that stretch run. Now it's, you know, you try to pad your lead as much as you can. And, you know, we did it in April, and then we lost ground in May. So now whoever makes that good stretch run like the Dodgers did last year, and we did it earlier this year, the ones that late in the year that have that stretch run are going to probably be the ones that ends up winning the division.
And Torrey Lovullo's ball club able to bank a lot of wins in April, bank a lot of wins in June. And so they are 52-43, only a half game behind the division lead as we play this one. Souza had an RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 2, lined out to center his last time up. Time for Dansby Swanson. What has been, in your observation, because you've been here for a long time and through a number of different regimes here, what has been the culture change with Torrey Lovullo compared to some other guys in the past?
I just think the confidence that he has. He's a younger manager. He's, you know, these are millennials that are out there on the field playing.
Right.
So I think that he relates to them so well. He's so open to them. And he gets it. He's got a younger son that's playing in the minor leagues, so it's not like he's out of tune of what these kids like and don't like and how they like to be treated. And he treats everybody a little bit different. He knows their personalities, and I think that's been a great mixture for this ball club the last couple of years, and they enjoy playing for him.
That seems to have become a very important, critical role for the manager these days. Know everybody's personality, because they're all different, and you have to relate to everyone individually, don't you?
Absolutely, and you don't see the old crusty manager out there anymore.
Those guys are dinosaurs.
And you're finding players or the guys that are managing that were, you know, they're not that far off from playing in their playing days. You know, they spend a little bit of time in the minor leagues or whatever, but they rush them up to the majors because they get it. They know. Look at Cora with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
He's got a fantastic team that he was handed the keys to, but at the same time, they love playing for him.
Yeah, Andy Green in San Diego is another example. You still got some veterans out there. Gardy in Detroit, and Bud Black in Colorado. But the prototype or the blueprint certainly seems to have changed the last decade or so.
And obviously, you got to have your good coaches around you. That's what makes the glue in the clubhouses. You got these guys that are able to open up and talk to coaches, and you know, the players, when they feel comfortable around guys and they don't have to hide stuff from the coaches, that's when you have good teams.
been a terrific run for Torey Lovullo in this front office. Playoff berth, 93 wins last year. Wild card winners. Right in the thick of the National League race again this year. 2-2 on Ketel Marte. Marte sends one pretty deep. Left center. That's over the head of Inciarte and gone. Ketel Marte makes it 3-0 Diamondbacks. Finally, Gonzo, a ball carried out of here.
Boy, that's a great swing by Marte. Almost in the same area that Jeff Mathis got his. They get that pitch down in the strike zone, just drop the bat head on, almost like they're swinging up. He got a lot more carry on it there to left center field to hit it out of the ballpark.
That's number 9 on the year for Marte, and that will be the last pitch that Newcomb throws. It's a jumbo jack, free jumbo jack tomorrow with Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Pitching change for Atlanta. 3-0 Diamondbacks. Back after this. Newcomb sent him back out there, and this is the at bat to Marte with 2 outs.
Yeah, got a backdoor breaking ball. Try to come with a changeup down. Tried another changeup, fastball in, and then just left this fastball down in the strike zone over the middle half of the plate, and Marte let him know about it.
Just enough. 407 out to left center field, his 9th of the year. And here's Chris Owings, 3-0. New pitcher for the Braves, the rookie right-hander Shane Carl. 2.83 ERA in 37 appearances. Double switch for Brian Snitker as Ryan Flaherty comes out of the ball game, and Johan Camargo takes over at third. Camargo will bat 9th, pitcher spot now 7th for Atlanta. CO singled and scored his last time up, came home on Jeff Mathis's 2-out RBI double in the 4th.
Carl's another guy, good fastball, likes to throw it. His out pitch is usually a slider that he likes to throw to those right-handed hitters. Tried to throw one there to CO, just kind of backed up on him. He's throwing that slider to the righties.
And usually that's Chris's kryptonite, 2-2. He has a problem laying off those breaking balls down and away.
He just threw one right there to him. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go right back to it again.
Reaches down and pokes it to Swanson at short. And that's the end of the inning. But the Diamondbacks add one more. Ketel Marte's homers made it 3-0. huge lead. It's our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool Play of the game. They get to center, which is usually where the freeze closes the gap. But somehow this guy hangs on.
I know, it looked like he was about ready to pull a hamstring right there coming around. He's got a little bit of gas left in the tank. He could feel him coming on, but he ends up taking the race.
It looked for sure like he was going to blow out right there, but he hung on and nipped the freeze at the wire. Nicely done. Camargo grounds out to Ahmed as we start the bottom of the 6th. That's 10 straight set down by Zach Greinke.
Hey, the freeze is allowed to have an off day once in a while, right?
Every once in a while he gets nipped at the wire like that. What a moment.
Oh, this guy's feeling really good. He's a hero now going back into the stands.
Now, how does you know the freeze? You guys are friends. How's he going to bounce back tomorrow?
He'll be working out tonight. He'll be running around out there in the outfield just to get ready. Do they get anything if they beat the freeze? Just a handshake, huh?
Wait, really? Not even like a T-shirt or something? I beat the freeze? How did the marketing department screw up that one? Ender 0 for 2.
The guy's got 2 blown hammies now, and he's feeling pretty good about himself, and he got a handshake.
He'll be in bed for a week after this one. How about Greinke, Gonzo? Ever since Dansby Swanson had that single to lead off the 3rd, he's retired 10 in a row. He's only given up 2 hits.
He's been a lot of fun to watch in this game.
Two balls and a strike on Inciarte, who has struck out and flied out.
You know, I think he's a perfect example for a lot of young kids that you don't have to throw 95 miles an hour to get guys out. I mean, here he is. He's consistently pitching 87 and 90, 91. But he's got movement. He's hitting location.
Fastball away. Strikes out Inciarte. That's 5 punch outs for Greinke, who set down 11 straight.
I think most teams, you know, the velocity always excites people. But I think most teams would love to have pitchers like this that are able to hit their spots and has good command of their pitches.
Here's Ozzie Albies. A strikeout, a ground out 0 for 2. We saw that last night with Anibal Sanchez, who's had a very good year, sort of picking around the edges of the strike zone with good command. And we're in Atlanta. The blueprint that we all heard about when Zach Greinke was signed by the Diamondbacks at not an advanced age, but he was in his early 30s, was Greg Maddux. They're sort of out of the same mold. Maddux pitched well into his late 30s, pitching exactly that way.
Yeah. And these are the guys that you really feel comfortable about because they're not going to blow the fastball by you. And then at the end of the day, when you're sitting with an 0 for 3 or an 0 for 4, you're really frustrated because you figured you got good pitches to hit and you missed them.
And hangs up there in left center for Peralta. Zach Greinke has retired 12 straight Braves. He leads at 3-0. Braves 3-0. Fans, the MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here. Just $39.99. Lets you watch every out-of-market regular season game, live or on demand. It includes MLB At Bat Premium. That lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Visit MLB.TV. Take advantage of this sale. $39.99. The MLB.TV All-Star Sale. Jeff Mathis, who had an RBI double in the 4th, will lead off the 7th. Right-hander Shane Carl back out there for the Braves. Pitcher spot is up next, and Greinke is out there in the on-deck circle. Right now, Greinke working on a 2-hit shutout through 6. Fastball under the chin. Mathis, Gonzo, just missed a home run in the 4th.
Yeah, he got a nice pitch to hit there. He elevated it up, just hit off the top half of the wall. Caught a break there, kind of bounced in an awkward way past the left fielder and was able to get Owings to score.
And CO scored from first with 2 outs, running all the way. After Owings had singled to start a little 2-out rally there. Jeff, they had 2 balls, no strikes. D-backs have out hit the Braves 4-2. They lead at 3-0. Greinke on deck. Souza an RBI single in the 1st. Mathis the 2-out double in the 4th. Marte a solo homer in the 6th. That's been all the scoring. There's a 3-0 fastball for a strike.
You see that heater at 94 miles an hour. He's probably going to get another fastball right here. You don't want to walk the guy in front of the pitcher.
Flowers set up, down, and away. And Carl missed in. Jan Mathis, and it's full 3-2. Tyler Flowers. He's a big target back there. Veteran catcher, 6'4", 260 pounds. His 3rd season with the Braves. He's been 7 years with the White Sox.
Mathis keeps doing a good job of fighting off that pitch on the inner half. If he gets one to leak over the middle of the plate, he can put it in play.
Swanson backhands it at shortstop. He's been busy down there. That's the 1st out in the 7th.
Boy, he sure has. He's made a lot of backhand plays today.
Swanson made all 3 outs, or had 3 assists, I should say, in the 6th inning, and now he gets the 1st one in the 7th. In fact, 5 of the last 6 D-backs hitters have grounded out to Dansby Swanson at shortstop. Here's Greinke 0 for 2. He's had some extended at-bats here today, Zach Greinke. He's seen a lot of pitches. Got that slider in there for a strike on 1.
See Zach talking to the umpire right there, kind of talking about locations and where he thought he had that pitch.
Caught the corner.
And Zach jumped out of the way. I'm not so sure he didn't try to set the pitcher up.
What does that mean?
See, he got it. He got the same pitch right there. You know, just sometimes hitters, when they're feeling really good and they get a pitch and they know that they know they should have had it, they kind of like jump or jerk out of the way, and then the pitcher and the catcher go, okay, he's not really seeing that pitch good, and you really see it really well, and they try to throw it again, and then you hit it up in the seats or down the line for a double. Or you talk to the catcher and tell him you're not really picking up the spin on the curveball. See if they bite at it.
That was another slider. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Went back to it, got the strikeout. 2 down. David Peralta walked and scored to lead off the ball game. Came home on Souza's RBI single in the first. David 0 for 2. Atlanta does not shift on Peralta, although Swanson, the shortstop, is almost right behind the bag at second. But nothing too dramatic here defensively from the Braves.
Yeah, it's kind of like a semi-shift. Camargo just playing just a little bit off from where he would normally play at third base.
Breaking ball from Carl. David down 0-2. David's been a little quiet lately. He's in a 2 for 16. Bump in the road right now. Coming off that 5-hit game last week against San Diego at Chase Field.
Got to get the train back on the tracks. He's been derailed a little bit.
Well, Greinke's the freight train now. Remember that report from Jody? Yeah. Get that nickname back. That one will drop in. That's a good start. Just a little bloop single with 2 outs for Peralta. And that'll give Nick Ahmed a chance. Nick 0 for 3.
Boy, Nick got punched out last time up on a pitch down in the strike zone. He thought it was a ball. It was pretty close.
Yeah, it was just a hair low, but not a brutal call. It was borderline strike. There's that slider. Nick has base hits in each of his last 3 games. He has really been a hitter lately. He's batting almost .330 in his last 14 games. He's got 9 extra base hits over that span. Last night he doubled in the 3rd, had an RBI single in the 7th. Sends this one out to left center. It hangs up for Inciarte. We stretch at SunTrust Park in Atlanta, where it's 3-0 D-backs. the strikeout pitch? The answer is all of them.
Yeah, really, you don't have to be a power pitcher in this game. You've been able to throw to different locations, various speeds. You see everything from 91 miles an hour. You saw 69 earlier. There's another 91 away. So he's been able to vary all his speeds and throw to different locations in the strike zone, able to get all these guys out.
Freddie Freeman a single in the first. Dansby Swanson a single in the third. That has been it offensively for Atlanta. Greinke has not walked a batter. He struck out 5. He's retired the last 12 Braves he's faced. And now Freeman leads off the bottom of the 7th.
Or more importantly, his pitch count is this is going to be his 80th pitch.
Tremendously efficient and effective. That one rolls foul right to Ely at first. You know what? I think you are absolutely spot on correct, considering that being an all-star means a lot to Zack Greinke. It's not just, some guys might not want to go, oh, I'd rather have the week off. He is really into it. And I think you're right. I think that selection meant a lot to him, and it's showing up here today as Freeman skies that one to AJ in center, 1 out.
Yeah, and sometimes there's players that are going to be overlooked and not make the team that are deservingly to make the club, and it happens every year. But when you don't originally make it and then somebody cancels out, and then these guys get a chance to be in because they were the next guys in line that might have gotten overlooked to be in there. He deserves to be there just for the simple. Despite the record, he goes out there and pitches every single day and gives his team a good quality start.
There's Nick Markakis, who leads the National League in hits, but is 0 for 2 so far. There's strike 1. Atlanta's bullpen busy once again. There's the right-hander Luke Jackson. We saw him pitch the 9th inning last night. Got a couple of strikeouts. Zack Greinke has lost only once since the end of May, and he has been tremendous here today. I was just thinking he better give us that call.
He's been hitting that spot all afternoon.
I mean, that is just dotting it right there. And the beauty of that pitch, it's a tick off the plate in case he does take a hack at it.
Well, you see Mathis set up in the same spot, and that ball just kind of tailed just a little bit off. So if you got an aggressive hitter at the plate, more times than not, they're going to be swinging at that, missing it.
And that's that hard changeup at 87. Now they go back to the fastball. No, shook off the fastball. He wanted the slow curve. 2 down in the 7th.
Boy, he's got Markakis out the last 2 times on that. One on that Ephus curveball, and then this time on a regular curveball. Here you see the break on it. Starts in the upper half. As a hitter, he got his foot down, got out in front, and then he had to wait for it to get there. Had nothing left. Just rolled over on it. Back to Greinke.
How much of that is the fact that major league hitters don't often see pitches at 66 miles an hour?
You don't, and you're geared up for that fastball every time up there, and you want to jump out and get it. So when you see a slow pitch like that, your eyes light up, but it's hard to stay back.
The catcher Flowers 0 for 2.
Boy, not only that, but Zach is like an extra defender out there in the middle of the field.
He's got a whole mantle full of gold gloves. That one is down the line, and it one-hops the wall. A ground rule double for Flowers. That ends a stretch of 14 straight retired by Zack Greinke. That one just able to stay fair in that left field corner. Brings up Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna has grounded out, flying out 0 for 2. Mathis out to the mound. Greinke trying to get through 7 scoreless here. Zach, after he got that All-Star nomination or selection earlier this week, was very quick and very publicly complimenting the entire Diamondbacks organization. which he said has really put him in position to succeed. The best support staff he's ever had in his career, he said. From the defenders behind him, the catchers, the front office with the game plans and the analytics. And he believes at this age that he's needed that to have a good year, and he's got it.
Yeah, and I think that's great for a guy like him to show his appreciation to everybody and let it be known, because a lot of times those guys behind the scenes do a lot of quality work that helps him go out there each and every day to prepare for the game. And we all know Zach, he's a studier of the game, and he likes to be on top of all the numbers and different things like that. So he's got a great support staff around him, and he wanted to acknowledge that, let everybody know that he doesn't get to where he's at without those guys.
It was a very classy move by a guy that doesn't speak to the media a whole lot. But he was beaming when he got named to the All-Star game in Colorado earlier this week. Pitcher's spot is up next for Atlanta. Preston Tucker is in the on-deck circle. 1-1 on Acuna. Zach Greinke now at the age of 34. He'll be 35 in October. Last season, 17 wins, only one behind Kershaw for the most in the National League. And pitching just about as well this year. That one's in the dirt. Flowers stays put at second. It's 2-2.
Nice job by Mathis just to stay in front of that. You see that ball in the dirt. Mathis kind of throwing his body out there. You know you're going to get beat with that in the chest protector, and he just kind of takes it. It's a nice job of regrouping and leaving the runner at second base.
Greinke now over 90 pitches. Went to the slow curveball, got the strikeout. 7 scoreless innings from Zach Greinke. He leads it 3-0. Nothing. Next Saturday, July 21st, we'll be back at it at Chase Field. You can pick up the Jake Lamb bobblehead, courtesy of Arizona Milk Producers. And bring the kids next weekend. Remember, up to 2 free kids tickets with each adult ticket. Get all the info at dbacks.com/kids. A 5:10 start Saturday. D-backs and the Rockies. New pitcher for Atlanta. We saw him in the ball game last night. Worked the 9th inning. It's the right-hander Luke Jackson.
There you see Luke Jackson, 12 appearances, 3.07 ERA, 20 strikeouts and 9 walks.
He'll face the heart of the order. Goldie, Pollock, Souza, 3, 4, and 5. Goldie walked in the first. He's 0 for 2. And Gonzo, when I look at the dark and threatening skies that have sort of covered each side of the ballpark throughout the afternoon here, I'm really grateful that we didn't get any rain. Just think of what we would have missed from Zach Greinke.
No, there's no doubt. He's been definitely an all-star today, the way he's pitched. He's a lot of fun to watch when he's hitting his spots and throwing that slow Epis curveball that he has and getting guys out. He's been frustrating a pretty good lineup in the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. Braves only a game and a half off the NL East lead behind the Phillies. That breaking ball slider right at the knees is a strike. But thank goodness the rain held off. The forecast was a little sketchy for this afternoon, but so far so good as we start the 8th. Popped up first base for Freeman.
Getting back to Zach, you talk about the guy on his game today. The 2, 3, and 4 are all-stars for the Atlanta Braves in the middle of the lineup, and he's only given up 1 hit to all 3 of those guys today.
Well, the bullpen for the Diamondbacks with Zach Greinke at 92 pitches is quiet right now. So Torrey may send him out there maybe for the 8th inning at least, and who knows beyond that, maybe try for the shutout. Pollock 0 for 2 with a walk. And it's amazing, Gonzo, to contrast Zach's last start Sunday at Chase Field against the Padres with what he's done here in Atlanta on Saturday against the Braves. 92 pitches through 7 scoreless innings. He needed 94 just to get through 4 1/3 against San Diego last week. What a difference that's made. This is in the seats and out of play.
And whatever corrections he made to get himself back on track, it's worked. Maybe he was upset because they didn't name him to the All-Star team right out of the gates.
Are you by any chance an art fan? Do you like art, painting? I'm just going to. Our producer Brad the Big Dog Weimer points out the 2 names on the scoreboard there in the lower right-hand corner, Jackson Pollock.
Okay. Not into art. I apologize.
No, hey, don't have to. It's just a bunch of paint splattered all over the canvas. Doesn't really make any sense, but some people seem to like it. You art history majors out there watching the game with us. Don't make it I'll chuckle out of that.
Don't judge me for that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people pay a lot of good money for that.
0-2 on the Pollock portion of that duo here. I like the look you gave me when I asked you that question. What the hell is he talking about?
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Well, it happens every once in a while up here.
I'm sure you confused me with Bob Brentley. He's probably a big art guy.
Yeah, he's got quite the gallery at the estate. His staff is always out there looking for good buys in the art world.
Jackson likes to throw that breaking ball. That slider's his bread and butter pitch for an out pitch.
That's a good take on an 0-2 pitch right there from AJ. A lot of guys are waving at that one with 2 strikes. That's by Camargo and down the line in left. AJ digging for second, and he's in there standing up with his 12th double.
Boy, nice piece of hitting by A.J. Pollock with 2 strikes. Trying to go down and away, leaks it over the middle of the plate, and he just smokes it right down the line.
Nice 2-strike. Extra base hit right there. D-backs a chance to tack on a run here. Still only 6 hits, but they lead it 3-0. And here's Steven Souza Jr., who had an RBI single in the first. AJ got to get that oven mitt on that left thumb, which he broke back in the middle of May.
Souza's hit a couple balls hard today. One to right center field that Inciarte made a great run and play.
Launches that one to the other side. Freeman's got it. Pollock at third, 2 outs. That'll bring up Ketel Marte, who homered in the 6th inning, his 9th of the year. That was the last pitch thrown by the Brave starter, Sean Newcomb. And now Ketel will flip around and bat for the left-hand side. That's one thing you really like about Ketel Marte. He's got 5 home runs as a right-hand batter and 4 from the left side, so he can swing it from either side with authority.
He could definitely give you that balance out there, lefty righty, and not only that, but he could pick it out there in the infield.
Play second base, play shortstop.
That's why he was rewarded with a nice multi-year contract this year.
Yeah, got an extension, 5 years, $24 million. A couple of option years tacked on at the end of that could make it a 7-year deal. This was Ketel Marte with 2 outs in the 6th.
Boy, that sounds good off the bat. Down, got right to the barrel to the ball, hits out of left center field.
That knocked Newcomb out of the game. Now Ketel ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Braves in the bottom of the 8th inning will have the lower third of the order due up the pitcher spot, then Swanson and Camargo, 7, 8, 9. Looks like Greinke's going to go back out there. There's no one warming up at the Diamondback bullpen. It's crickets out there. Fastball away, called a strike by Mike Estabrook. 2-2. You see that look of frustration.
See if he tries to go back out there again, since he got that call to help him out.
I'll say this, it was pretty much the same thing last night with Tom Hallion. That strike zone would expand east and west, but I think Estabrook has been a little more consistent in his regard than Hallion was last night.
So, and I think he's had a pitcher in Zach Greinke that's been able to hit his location a lot better too.
Yeah, nothing egregious, just every once in a while the strike zone gets a little chunky. Like there. Curveball's a strike. 3-0 D-backs in the 8th. 3-hit shutout starts the 8th. They'll be an all-star in Washington, D.C. You can see the game from the nation's capital Tuesday on Fox. Stream it live with the Fox Sports app. The MLB All-Star Game from Washington, D.C. Tuesday only on Fox. Pitcher spot, 7th in the Braves order, leads it off in the 8th inning. Here's Danny Santana, the pinch hitter, his first appearance in the series. Archie Bradley starts to get it cranked up in the D-back bullpen. Archie worked in the ball game last night. Got 3 outs in the 8th inning through 20 pitches. So here's Santana, who has spent nearly all of this year at AAA Gwinnett, where he's hit just about 280. There's that hard changeup fouled away. 1-2. This might be one of those deals, Gonzo. We see this a lot from Torey Lovullo, where he says, okay, I'll let you go back out there, but one base runner and you're coming out. Now, obviously we don't know that for certain, but that's usually the way this type of scenario goes with Greinke at 95 pitches. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Waves on another changeup, and Zach gets his 7th strikeout.
Well, I don't think they have to worry about that if he keeps throwing those pitches. I think Zach probably told him that he feels pretty good right now, and he's in command of the strike zone. He knows what he's got left in the tank.
He has been outstanding here today. No walks, 7 strikeouts. He's given up only 3 hits. Swanson has one of them, a single in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Andrew Chafin now warming up in the bullpen as well, the left-hander. Fastball's a strike, 1-1.
Boy, that just tells me right there Swanson was looking for something out of the edges, and he threw a fastball right down the heart of the plate. He's got these guys thinking, you know, when you get in a hitter's head like that, it's hard. These guys start looking for pitches in certain locations, and they don't get them. They're guessing wrong up there.
Couldn't get him to chase the slider that time. So you've got Bradley, the right-hander, ready. Chafin, the lefty, warming up. Camargo, the switch hitter, on deck. Swanson's got his 2nd hit today. A 1-out single into center. Just the 4th hit for Atlanta.
Boy, and he got one on the outer edge up in the strike zone. He's got 2 of the 4 hits for the Atlanta Braves today. He's the only one that's really seeing him well.
Well, here's Camargo, who was double switched into the ball game at 3rd. 249 and 9 homers. Switch hitter, bats from the left-hand side. He's got power from both sides of the plate.
Boy, and he struggled last night on that breaking ball down and in.
Grounded out to lead off the 6th against Greinke. There's the fastball just off the plate. Estabrook has been consistent in that regard. It's 0-1. Camargo last night was hitless. He punched out twice. Changeup missed, a ball and a strike. Everything else in the NL West is later tonight. Dodgers host the Angels. Rockies host Seattle. The Giants are home against Oakland. Fastball a little too far out there. 2 balls and a strike. 102 pitches for Greinke.
It's a little different here in Atlanta. Usually around this time of the game, the fans are heading out of the ballpark. Over here, they stay all the way till the end.
Traffic is going to be lousy no matter what time you leave in Atlanta.
Not for me, big guy.
Oh, that hurts. Center, A.J. Pollock. 2 down. Yeah, you're just walking over to the hotel there behind right field.
It's
nice.
Boy, nice job by Zach Greinke right there.
Here comes Torey Lovullo. He wants the lefty Chafin for Inciarte. Zach Greinke, 7 2/3 scoreless innings. He was magnificent here today in Atlanta. Headed to the All-Star Game Tuesday in Washington, and he will leave with a 3-0 lead. We're back after this. 7 2/3 scoreless innings. Gave up only 4 hits. Did not walk a batter. Had 7 strikeouts and at one point retired 14 consecutive batters.
Boy, he was outstanding today. 103 pitches, but he had everything working for him. The slow curveball, the fastball, the breaking ball, you name it, he had it going.
And so with Swanson still at first and 2 outs in the 8th inning, Torlavella goes to his left-hander, Andrew Chafin. Originally to face the hitter Ender Inciarte, and now Charlie Culberson will bat for Ender. Get the right-hand bat in there. Culberson struck out against Yoshi Hirano in the ball game last night. The numbers on Chafin this year is 46th appearance with a 1.59 ERA. Culberson 267 and 4 homers. He is 4 for 21 as a pinch hitter this year. He does have a pair of pinch hit home runs. Fastball is low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, this is one thing with Chafin. He's got to work on getting them leadoff hitters out. Coming into the game here, 3-0. You don't want to put another guy on base, get that tying run at the plate, especially with 2 outs.
And you've got the all-star Ozzie Albies on deck. Swanson, the runner at first, 2 outs, 2-1 on Charlie Culberson. That's a fastball away, knocked foul, and it's 2-2. D-backs in the 9th have 7-8-9 due up. Owings, Mathis in the pitcher's spot. They have out hit the Braves 6-4. They lead at 3-0. The slider, and Culberson has worked it full 3-2 with Albies on deck. You do not want him to come up as the tying run, leading the league in extra base hits. Goldie plays behind the runner at first. Swanson will get an early start here. There he goes. Ball 4, and Atlanta will get the tying run to the plate with 2 outs in the 8th.
That last pitch there, 3-2, wasn't even close.
Here comes Torrey. He's got Archie Bradley ready. He's coming in.
That's a tough sign there. You bring him in to try to get that hitter out, and unable to do it. Got to go to Archie.
So just like in the 8th inning last night, they will bring in the beer. Back from Atlanta after this. for 6 innings. The bullpen may have been even better. Hirano, Bradley, Boxberger combined to work 3 innings of 1-hit ball with 5 strikeouts to get Godley his 11th win. Boxberger struck out the side in the 9th, save number 23. And here today, they turn to the bullpen one more time as Archie Bradley is on to face Ozzie Albies. 2 on, 2 out, 3-0 Diamondbacks. A fastball is fouled back at 0-1. Archie came on to work the 8th inning last night. Albies was the first batter he faced. He got him to fly out to left. And he's up there now as the tying run at the plate, 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Well, there's one thing about Archie. When he comes in the game, he's going to give you maximum effort.
Archie last night, 20 pitches, 13 strikes to work the 8th inning. Just looking for 1 out right here, and he's ahead 0-2. Ozzie Albies headed to the All-Star game Tuesday at the age of 21. The youngest Brave to make an All-Star appearance since Hank Aaron in 1955. He leads Atlanta with 20 homers this year. He is the tying run at the plate. Upstairs, he just got a piece. They got him to hack at that one at least, well above the strike zone.
Well, he knows he's going to get something hard up there at the plate. He's going right after him.
To the curveball. They bring in the beer, and he strands 2. We hit the 9th in Atlanta.
Oklahoma, where he grew up, and then his parents, Pam and Charles, they've been on this entire trip going from Denver to Atlanta. Loves having his family with them, and this was actually his Christmas present for them, guys. He said he would pay for a road trip, and this is the one they chose. And Archie, what can you say? He's a guy that probably deserves a spot on an all-star team. What he did last year or what he's doing this year, a bunch of holds this year, guys, and it's not a position that you'll see a lot make it to the All-Star game, but Archie Bradley's been phenomenal.
You're right, Jody. He's one of the best in the business, Archie Bradley. Good that he could have his family here in Atlanta. Left-hander A.J. Minter is on to start the 9th for the Braves. A couple of defensive changes behind him. Acuna moves from left to center, replacing Inciarte, and Culberson, who was the pinch hitter for Inciarte, takes over in left. Chris Owings leads off the Diamondback ninth. CO trying to bunt his way on.
Ball actually, he bunted it and hit the bat twice. Good thing he was still in the batter's box.
That was close.
Here you see him square around late trying to bunt for a base hit. Hit his leg or the bat twice.
Bunted it into the ground. I think it came back up and hit him in the leg. That's what Mike Estabrook was signaling. Unfortunately, still in the box. So 1-1. Owings singled and scored in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Jeff Mathis on deck, pitcher spot behind him. Brad Boxberger, who struck out the side in the ninth for his 23rd save last night, starts to get it loose again today. Boxberger only needed 14 pitches to get the final 3 outs last night. Fans, today after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
Minter with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Get it up to 99.
Right back to the mound, and they retire Owings to start the ninth. Brings up Jeff Mathis, who had an RBI double in the fourth. Couple of veteran catchers just chatting away down there. Mathis and Flowers. Got another catcher out of the on-deck circle. John Ryan Murphy will hit for the pitcher, Archie Bradley. Boxberger warming up in the bullpen.
I'll tell you, regardless of what Mathis does at the plate, he did his job today catching Zach Greinke.
They worked as well together as we've seen them. We've gotten spoiled by it. Greinke 7 2/3 scoreless, only 4 hits allowed, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Boy, he's trying to bury that cutter down and in like the previous pitch to Jeff. Spiked at that time. It's 1-2. Looking ahead to the bottom half of this inning, the ninth. Boxberger will be facing Freeman, Markakis, and Flowers, 3, 4, and 5, the middle of the Braves order. A little taller mountain to climb there than the one that Box was up on last night when he got Tucker, Acuna, and Swanson. Ball launches 14 pitches. He struck out the side. Still trying to jam that cutter in there.
He missed location a little bit. They're trying to get right under his hands. Mentor kind of left that one out over the plate.
Punches it down the line, and that ball drops in for a base hit. 1-out single for Mathis, who's 2 for 4.
Boy, that's a nice piece of hitting right there. Mathis got to feel good about this day. Had his starter go deep into the ball game, and now picking up his second hit of the ball game.
Well, it just kept coming with that same pitch, that cutter into the right-hander. So Jeff, RBI double in the 4th. Now a 1-out single in the 9th. Murphy bats for Bradley. John Ryan batting .236. He's got 9 homers. He's done pretty well against left-handers this year.
Here he is making his first appearance of this series. I think this is one of the toughest jobs, especially for a young player that, you know, whether they're in the minor leagues or playing all the time, and now you find yourself, you know, occasionally getting a start. Now you're pinch hitting. And they always tell you, as a pinch hitter, you got to be ready. That first fastball you get, he got one right there, 97. I'm sure he wasn't expecting it to come in that hard right there with velocity.
Yeah, so all those cutters at 92 to Mathis. He got the 97 mile-an-hour four-seamer. And then another one up. It's 1-1. Murphy 2 for 17 as a pinch hitter this year. That's not something I imagine you had to do a whole lot of, did you?
I did a little bit more late in my career,
Yeah.
not as much, but it's not a fun job. You learn to appreciate these guys that come off the bench and have to do this for a living, especially the guys that set those pinch hit records.
This is out to center field. Acuna. 2 outs. Yeah, guys that can do that, they can extend their careers by 5-6 years.
And it's hard to find those great pinch hitter guys, your Lenny Harrises, your Manny Motas, guys like that were successful for a long time.
Yeah, Chase Utley just announced the other day he's going to retire at the end of this year. Peralta has walked and singly scored the first run. He's got Mathis at first, 2 outs. Stuck that cutter in through the front. David hitting only .210 versus lefties this year. Does have 4 home runs against left-handers. The cut fastball was not, obviously you hit a pretty good one for a fairly famous hit, but the cut fastball was not as prevalent when you played as it is now, was it?
No, there was only a few guys that were able to throw that pitch, and I mean, you think of what Mariano Rivera did with that only pitch that he had. I mean, how successful he was. But you're seeing, you're exactly right. You're seeing a lot more guys throwing that now.
Like Minter's throwing a whole lot of cut fastballs here. Now that's the hard four-seamer at 96. That cutter's generally about 92 or so. A lot of guys pick that pitch up somewhere along the line and they just fall in love with it. Suddenly they can't throw a breaking ball. Was it right there? Cutter at 91. It's 2-2.
Boy, that was right down the middle too. I'm sure David Peralta hopes he gets another one like that.
Yeah, Minter got lucky, put it in a bad spot. D-backs with 7 hits, they've left 6. Atlanta 4 hits, they've left 5. Again, another cut fastball. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks. 3-0 lead over the Braves. Don't forget, fans, if you can't watch the D-backs games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Just download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona, and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Brad Boxberger, right in the middle of the tomahawk chop. He struck out the side in the 9th on 14 pitches last night for save number 23. And he'll try and shut this one down again today. It'll be Freeman, Markakis, and Flowers, 3, 4, and 5 in the Braves' 9th.
Let's see if he can close it out right here. He's got the heart of the order.
Got 40,000 plus on their feet. Chopping away. Freeman single in the first. He's 1 for 3. D-backs will put the overshift on against Freddie Freeman. You've got 3 infielders on the right side. Owens all by himself, sort of near the bag at third. So here we go. Boxberger in the 9th with a 3-0 lead. Got that fastball in there. 0-1.
Boy, he did. They've been tying Freddie Freeman up pretty good there. He wasn't able to get extended on that pitch.
Freeman, as he steps in right here, has 12 hits in his last 27 at-bats. He's been hot lately. That one is low, but it's strike 2, and Freeman can't believe it. He's not wrong. Punches it, just foul. Oh boy, that one almost hopped over the bag. Tom Hallion in the jackpot down there at third. Let's see. He's perfectly positioned to make the call. That one was trouble. Change up and missed.
We had the fans giving the umpires the business there, both of them, the home plate umpire and the third base umpire, in a matter of 2 pitches. Tom Hallion.
Well, stayed in front of the umpire so that it's not subject to review. And Boxberger gets a big strikeout with a changeup. They retire Freeman to start the 9th.
You see this changeup just kind of dipping down and in. Freddie Freeman, not a lot he could do with that pitch. Strikes him out.
So Boxberger has faced 4 Brave batters in this series. He struck all of them out. 1 down for Markakis, who is 0 for 3. Leading the National League in hits, Nick Markakis. That low fastball's ball 1. Markakis, couple of hits last night. He's got a 6-game hit streak on the line. No shift against Markakis. Fastball's there, 1-1. Pays off the changeup. You know, with Brad Boxberger, it's going to be one of 2 things: the fastball or the change. That one is over Owens and into left field. A 1-out single. Got the fastball that time. They'll bring up Tyler Flowers.
Boy, there you see that pitch. He kind of fought it off, kind of jammed him, but he was able to get enough of it over Owens' head at third base. You know, one good thing about Boxberger, and I think it gives a calmness to everybody else on the field, he never looks like he's panicking.
Never. I mean, you don't know if he's ahead 8-0 or behind 8-0. It's always the same expression. He's got a very slow heartbeat. Here's Flowers, the catcher, doubled his last time up against Zach Greinke.
And I think you have to have that to have this type of role.
Oh, I'm sure. He was outstanding several years ago in Tampa Bay when he led the American League in saves with the Rays, but he's had some injuries the last 2 years. And he's done an outstanding job here as a Diamondback. Oh, just dotted that one. 0-2. Good changeup. Acuna, the on-deck hitter for the Braves. Foul tip. Mathis hangs on. A fastball is another strikeout for Boxberger. 2 down.
Boy, he went all over that strike zone there. He got him on an elevated fastball, but the pitch before was away. Just had him guessing all over the place.
1 out to go. It's the 20-year-old Ronald Acuna Jr. who's 0 for 3. Markakis at first, 2 outs. Look at that location right there. Boxberger last night was almost surgical. He's been about as good here so far. There's another one right there.
Yeah, that's a great spot if he can leave that pitch there in the bottom half of the zone.
Fastball's punched foul.
Well, they're doing a good job of moving the ball around up and down in the strike zone, trying to change the eye level of the hitter.
Lays off a changeup in the dirt. Pitcher spot is up next. Kurt Suzuki, who was the starting catcher last night, is in the on-deck circle. He would be the tying run. Got him! Boxberger nails it down, and the D-backs win it 3-0. They were swept in their first series here last year. Now they can sweep the Braves tomorrow. Zach Greinke was dynamic. Boxberger gets the save again, his second in the series, his 24th of the year, and the D-backs are back to 10 over 500.
Boy, what a great game right there for Zach Greinke. Boxberger comes in and nails it down. Nice job by everybody, really. I think the pitching staff did a great job today.
Greinke gets his 10th win. The Braves are reeling now. They've lost 8 of their last 10, and the D-backs, with all-star Patrick Corbin on the mound tomorrow, will go for the 3-game sweep to close out the first half of the year. Up next, it's Jody Jackson. D-backs Live, the postgame show, brought to you by CenturyLink. Zach Greinke was outstanding. The bullpen comes through again. And the D-backs get another win here at SunTrust Park. Back with much more from Atlanta right after this. 3-0 the final.